Oh, so we have some people back here to see me cheating and checking on stocks. All right. Is everyone able to see and hear? Unable to connect the chat. YouTube, you just hate me today. YouTube hates me today. It says I'm unable to connect the chat. This has got to be the wonkiest live stream I've ever done in my life. Not happy with this today. There we go. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I did restart. Looks like, how's the stream? Everything a little better? Yeah, my upload speed doubled to a whopping 10 megabits per second. So instead of every other second, maybe you'll actually get every second now. That would be pretty interesting. Way better, all good. Stream is great. Okay, man. Whew, that sucked. I apologize about that, guys. You know, you never know if you're going to have a bad day on the racetrack until you start racing, and kind of had a bad day on the racetrack there. Okay, still wondering about that sentiment thing. Very good question. Okay, so before I was so rudely interrupted by my ISP trying to limit my upload bandwidth, or actually it's more like my router trying to limit my upload bandwidth. We were talking about how can Bitcoin possibly get down to 3,500? Isn't that way too low to sell? Isn't that way too low to sell? There's no way in hell that people are going to sell at 3,500. There's no way anyone's going to sell 3,500. Well, let me go ahead and, we're going to go back to what this market is mirroring. And ladies and gentlemen, this market is mirroring the 2013. If you want to argue against this particular mirroring effect, I'll be happy to discuss it with you. We'll be happy to have a nice conversation. And yeah, that's about it. I understand there's the Mt. Gox issue. I get that. But in the end, Mt. Gox didn't cause the vast majority of the selling. Now, what Mt. Gox did do was stop people from entering the market. That's something that Mt. Gox did do. But that's also what parabolic moves do. That's also what these big, huge parabolic moves do. The reason why people will sell at Bitcoin 3,500 is because they can't believe that Bitcoin's at 3,500 and they can't take the pain anymore. If you guys watched my psychology video, I talked that we're floating up on hope. Back in this cup with handle in 2013, it was the exact same scenario. We were floating up on hope. Zach, yeah, you can watch it whenever you want. It's not a one-time thing. It's not a one-time thing. You can watch it whenever you want. So the market's floating on hope at this particular point in time. And then as things get lower, that hope slowly begins to dissipate. And everyone's waiting for a bounce that never comes to sell their Bitcoin. That's literally what's happening as I'm going through day by day here. Hope is vanishing. Oh, crap, it's at 500. Well, it's going to bounce up to 550, so I'm going to go ahead and wait till that happens. Oh, it's now at... So let me zoom in here. So, yeah, you're back here like, okay, I'm going to wait until it bounces up to 620, and then I'm going to sell, or 600, then I'm going to sell. Oh, okay, maybe someone sold there, maybe not. And then it continues lower, and then as it takes out level after level, everybody wants it to get back to a prior level before they sell. Okay, that's how these things happen. That's exactly how these things happen. That's why I mentioned I'm not going to take any long side action, because any short-term gain, if I go to sleep or if I time it incorrectly, then the market can correct against me and just wipe out whatever position I have there. So, as you can see here, it never makes a higher high after this cup with handle, because this is your hope period, ladies and gentlemen. This is the period where everybody says, everybody says, I hope we're going higher, you know, and they're really bullish here, they're really bullish here, but no one quite wants to jump in the market. Think back to last week when we were in that cup with handle. Think back to last week when we were in that cup with handle. Were you just arbitrarily buying? I hope not. I hope you were, and I hope you were waiting for the breakout, as a good trader should do. You always wait for the breakout. But then as we just get lower and lower and lower, this is just all hope just dissipating. All right, 2013 sends shivers down our spines. As long as we're above the 8,800 level, we're okay. Yeah, if we never break 8,800, of course we'll be okay, right? You can pick any level for that. So for apples, that's kind of what you're saying there. Well, unfortunately, 8,800 is a most recent low. You really have to look at the longer term time frame. Let me do this. You really have to look at the longer term time frame for a price level that you can say, as long as we don't go below, and that could be 6,000. By all intents and purposes, ladies and gentlemen, we can retest 6,000 and still have a healthy market. But I really don't think that's going to happen. All of my analysis, everything that I've done in terms of trading, just leads me to the fact that this market is heading lower. What about the correction in April 2013? Couldn't that be compared to today too? The rise in winter 2013 was so steep and fast compared to 2017. Let me take that in a little bit. April 2013. Let's go to April 2013. So here's April 2013. We just had this rise, Isabel. We just had this rise. This was a 100% rise. Okay, this was a 100% rise, and this actually took longer than it did over here. Okay, this was also a 100% rise from here to here. Okay, and that actually happened. Much faster. This has been a much faster overall rise and decline, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think there's a chance you're wrong? Andre asks. Absolutely. Absolutely, there's a chance I'm wrong. I generally do not, if I feel strongly about a position, I will feel strongly about it until it's proven incorrect. Until it's proven incorrect. And so far, I'm not being proven incorrect. So Sid mentions whenever someone buys a stock or crypto, they hope it goes higher. Absolutely, Sid. Everyone, we always hope. There's always hope, but the more that you practice the trade of trading, the art and the profession of trading, the more you will start to gain an edge and a feel for the market and a respect for the market. And when you know that the stars are aligning in your favor for your trade, that hope can turn into money. But you have to have that expertise, and you have to have that expertise, and you have to have that knowledge. You have to have that knowledge and that history behind you before that hope turns into money. So you say, Futter, F you. You know what? In my Real Crypto Power Hour, I will not be tolerating any of this kind of stuff. Any of it, to be quite frank with you. This is a place for discussion. This is a place for thoughtful discord. There will be, if you want to use cursing to elaborate your point, that's perfectly fine. But if you're going to call me names again, I will ban you. That's not the kind of thing that we're doing here. This market is going to 6K today. If were you, I will sell. Yeah, it's not. Well, it doesn't go to 6K today, guys. If you look at the history of these markets and these moves, you can start to understand when we're going to fall off a cliff. We're not quite there yet. If you bought at 1.5, if you bought 1.5 Bitcoin at 11.5, would you exit now or hold out? I would exit. If that was me, I would exit. That's why Euro Crypto, real talk, brother. I'm thinking the same. Last big support in the 4,800 range. So, $84 thoughts about ascending channel now that we're in on log scale for over a year now. You know what? To be frank with you, ladies and gentlemen, all this talk about log scale and we're good because we're in log scale, That's garbage. I mean, that doesn't hold any kind of validity. There's no, I don't, so let's do that though. Let's do that. Let's look at that. Let's go to log. Let's go to current. Let's zoom all the way out. Let's go to, okay, so here's log scale. So let's see here. All right, you're welcome for the answer. Where's the log scale question? Because that's a pretty decent question. That's a decent question. Don't mind that at all. So Greg asked when I think Bitcoin's going to hit the bottom approximately. You know what, Greg? I actually don't think I'm going to. I thought I was going to do a video on that. I don't think I'm going to anymore. Not because I don't believe in it, to be quite frank with you, but I'm not doing that right now. You can go back and watch that video. It is on YouTube. I haven't taken it down. Feel free to go watch that video, but I'm keeping that one a little close to the vest, to be honest with you. Where's the log scale question? Come on, Sid. Vlad, what's up? Everyone say hi to Vlad right now. Everybody say hi to Vlad. He's been a member of the community a long time. He's been a member of our Slack chat room for a long time. Very cool guy. Always posts honest stuff. Very active in chat. Thanks for being here, Vlad. Okay, so I'm going to address this honest question. Can you explain why you would exit now on my previous message if I bought 1.5 Bitcoin at 11.5? The reason being is this. This market is headed lower. You want to cut your losses as fast as humanly possible when things are trading lower, okay? You want to cut your losses as fast as humanly possible. And I don't see a case for us going higher. So for me personally, if I bought at 11.5, I would have sold at 11.4, but if I was still holding on to it, I would just sell immediately and cut my losses. You have to cut losses as short and as small as possible. You have to. Otherwise, you will not survive. And this leads back to the question earlier, why would anyone sell at 3,500? Well, if you bought at 11.5, and there's going to be a point that person that bought at 11.5 is going to sell. And a lot of those people are going to sell when it's far below where they think it can go. They're going to think in their minds, oh yeah, it's going to go to 6K, then it's going to bounce. It's going to go to 5K, and it's going to bounce. There's a base over here, so it's going to bounce. None of that holds validity. So the reason why I would sell now is because we just had a little bounce. We just had a little bounce that we broke down from, and you may not see egregiously higher prices for quite some time. That is my thought, my viewpoint, and how I would trade that. Doesn't mean you have to do that, but I am a firm believer. I'm a firm believer in the fact that you have to have a point which you are going to cut a loss. Anytime I never cut losses, I always got my ass handed to me every time. So what is log scale? Logarithmic scale. Let me show you. Logarithmic scale is where the chart is priced in percentages versus dollars. So as you can see, this is each of these jumps in price on the right hand on this time scale are equal in percentage instead of equal in dollars. So if I remove log scale, you get that, because this dollar rise was egregiously more than this dollar rise. This only rose about $1,000. This rose $19,000. If you go to log scale, what it does is it attempts to smooth out the market in terms of percentage movements. All right, thanks for saying hi to Vlad, everyone. Give you a little shout out there, Vlad. Okay. So Isabel, I think you looked at the correction in April 2014. April 2013, I think, is not... Oh, you mean the first base. Oh, there's no April 2013. You are correct. I don't have that on my chart. 99 Bitcoins, really? You know what? I did not know that. I want as much information. 99 Bitcoins? That's a website, right? Yeah. Okay, I'll look into that later. But I would like to do that analysis. Maybe join me tomorrow for my Real Crypto Power Hour, and we'll go ahead and look at that. But I don't know how to use that platform there. When will alt sessions start? Are we within 180 watching the best? Aren't we with 180 watching the best to give us your take on approximate bottom? Yeah, I think the approximate bottom is between 24 and 3600. Somewhere in there. Those are two different analysis that I've done. I did them at separate time frames, and so yeah, it's such a difficult art to picking a bottom like that. But if history follows, because keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I actually did about 45 minutes to an hour worth of time work and price work on these two bases and how they relate to each other and how they relate to us today, and things are rhyming up extraordinarily well. Wouldn't good advice to everyone be, if you can get out now, either with gains or bearable losses, then do it and wait as a matter of urgency? Well, I definitely would get out and I would wait, and that's what my videos are about. Now, everyone has a different trading strategy. I just try to give analysis. I don't want to tell everyone to sell. If I give you analysis and that lines up with your analysis, then that's great. If it doesn't, then I don't want to FUD or FOMO anyone out of a position by literally saying you have to sell. If I say you have to sell, people will take that very seriously, and I don't want to FUD anyone out of a position. If you get FUDded out of a position based on, oh, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Thank you very much. If you get FUDded out of a position by watching my video just on price, then you didn't have any, you didn't really have any, how do I want to put this, plan. You didn't really have a plan, okay? PGS, thank you very much. PGS, I appreciate you, buddy. Frederick, what up, buddy? How you doing? Frederick's in the house. Everybody say hi to Frederick. I'm going to mispronounce your name, Mihai, but am I in all cash now? I am in all cash now. I actually don't have any trades on at the moment. Although I take that back, my BitMEX account is held in Bitcoin, so technically I do have some Bitcoin. What if you want to do long-term invest, still sell? That's a tough one. Sativa, DF Sativa, that's a tough one. Again, it goes into your trading plan and your time frame. And that's what this real Crypto Power Hour is designed to be. I do want to answer specific questions like this. Most of my live streams and videos, I really try to do generalization. But in my Real Crypto Power Hour, I do want to get very specific with trading strategies. But yeah, so if you guys do have a very specific question, please post it with some details behind it in terms of where you got in, what your risk tolerance is, how much is, what is the area that you would consider selling? Like if it got down to 3,000, would you consider selling? Post things like that. That way we can have a very pointed discussion, because there is a lag with the chat. There's about a 10 to 20 second lag. If we trade cycles to have more Bitcoin, will it be more interesting than trading Bitcoin against dollars? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, Mohammed. If we trade cycles to have more Bitcoin, would it be more interesting than trading Bitcoin against dollars? Well, you can trade cycles to get more Bitcoin, but you have to trade them against dollars, don't you? So I'm a little confused by that. In my opinion, what's the lowest Bitcoin can go this week? Fitness Health asks. I'll answer that question, but don't take it at face value. I think we could get down towards 6,000 this week. It's possible. Now, in terms of a percentage likelihood, well, let's do this. We have a trend line here, so this puts us out. So what would 318 be? So 318 puts us back down here with a spike low. We could get down towards 7,000 probably this week, I would say. But this measured move here does put us down towards 6,000. On my website for members, do you have tutorials on how to short? You know what? I haven't made those yet, Paul. I haven't made tutorials on how to short yet with my courses. I will be doing my courses after the power hour ends here in a little bit. We'll go a little long because of all the technical difficulties, but generally the power hour should be about an hour. And after that hour, I'll be doing my courses, and I will be laying out a syllabus for shorting. Do I foresee any altcoins detaching in terms of correlation from Bitcoin before the market goes bullish? I don't know, Pato. I thought Ethereum was going to do that, but it didn't. So that's going to be really difficult to have give you a valid answer there. So Ride the Track says, do you have a buying plan if your bottom target is wrong? Sounds to me like you'd miss a lot of trading opportunity if the market bottomed at 4 to 5K. Very valid question, Ride the Track. I actually haven't thought that far ahead, to be honest with you. I don't have a buying plan at that level. I guess I'm just going to have to wait and see what the charts say. If they point to more downside action, if we get down to 4 to 5K, it's going to be fairly obvious, I think, if we're going to get a bottom or so. But I don't have a plan there. So Luma's Rose says, historically, Bitcoin... Hey, thank you very much, Davis. Thank you, sir. Historically, Bitcoin has not dropped below 200 MA on the daily for longer than 3 or 4 days. You think this will be a first? Well, I don't know what you mean by historically. Because here's the 200 moving average back in 2013, and we lived below it. It proved to be resistance for quite some time, so we can live below it. You can't understand my site? Oh, yeah. No, BitMEX site. Yeah, BitMEX is a pain in the butt. BitMEX is a pain in the butt. Speaking of BitMEX, I think I'm shorting Bitcoin here. Could be a little premature. Let's find out. What percentage do you put your stop losses? 1%, 2%, 5%? That depends in the market, Sid. Typically, my max stop loss would be 10%. That would be like my ultimate max stop loss would be 10%. I like to get out as soon as I know the trade isn't going in my direction. But my max stop loss, that's my max stop loss, 10%. Again, thank you, Davis, for the super chat tip. I really appreciate that. What percentage do you think there's a chance that Bitcoin will go back to 11,650 in the next few weeks? No. Personally, I don't view that as something that's going to happen. Yeah, I'm just going to say no to that. And that's my opinion. That's my opinion. How many years do we have to wait for the next Bitcoin bubble? I think it'll happen next year, actually. My time series analysis leads to me that the Bitcoin bubble, the next one, if it does occur, should happen next year. BitMEX link. I actually do have a BitMEX link. If you guys do want a BitMEX link, here is a BitMEX link. If you want to try to do that, it is. If you guys do that, and do want to trade BitMEX, come back here for the Real Crypto Power Hour. It's a very interesting ecosystem. Let me just tell you that. Will Bitcoin be higher than 20K in the future? Absolutely. Absolutely, it will be higher than 20K. Bearish flag on Bitcoin 2-hour time frame. Right there, buddy. Bear flag. Yes, it is. And what happens with bear flags, ladies and gentlemen? They go lower. They go lower. Let me see here. Historical price. Sorry, checking out this historical price. Okay. You're saying April 2013. Oh, wow. Let me see here. So I'm saying Bitcoin's going to drop as low as 3 to 2K. Surely everyone would buy a bottom before then around 6K. Not necessarily, Scott. Not necessarily. Surely everyone would buy a bottom before then around 6K. Not necessarily. That's not how it works. If the Mt. Gox trustee drops his Bitcoin now, we could go to 500. Just kidding, but somewhere in that range. So the Mt. Gox trust, yeah, you know, like I said in my last video on the weekly review, we're going to have to see what the Japanese court decides in terms of that trustee having to sell the Bitcoin. You're welcome. All right, so 2013. You can slide the date range to go to April 2013. So here's April 2013. This is some good coding right here. Let me see. So Isabel, I'm sorry, can you please remind me your original question? I'm not going to be able to scroll up through chat. Please repost your question here and I'll go ahead and address it. Danny has something I want to talk about. Do you think everyone is just making excuses to explain them being wrong, i.e. it was Mt. Gox, it was organized by whales, market manipulation, etc.? So I'm not sure what you mean by everyone, but generally people do like to make excuses, and this is one of the parts of trading. Actually, I haven't talked about this too much. When you are trading, ladies and gentlemen, everything's your fault. Okay? And until you accept, speaking of which, let me look at my fault stuff. Until you can accept responsibility for your actions, that's bad. Until you can accept responsibility for your actions and your trades, you will lose. You will wholeheartedly lose. You can't worry about whales, Mt. Gox, news, FUD. You can't worry about anything. Trading is a very personal relationship between you and the buy and the sell button. So a lot of people do make excuses while trading, and they're going to use every excuse in the book until they either just stop trading or come to the realization that, you know what, I actually affect my trading more than anything else does, so I'm going to stop blaming everything else. So nothing to see here says, I thought I read the trustee isn't authorized to sell until September. I didn't read that, so I don't know that. Can I talk about bottoming candles? Seems so hard to catch the bottoms. The bottoms happen very, very quickly. The bottoms happen extraordinarily quickly. So it is hard to catch bottoms. You do have to be there in real time. You can try to put some orders down below, but guys, that's extremely risky. I definitely do not recommend you do that unless you're really good, in which case you already know the answer to that question. What's stupid about selling at 8K instead of 3K? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Nano. Selling at 8K is way better than selling at 3K. I was wondering if the crash December 2017 could possibly be compared to the April 2013 2. Oh, you mean like this one right here? Like this little crash? The crash in December 2017. Well, April 2013, I don't think so, because this isn't the end of a parabolic move. This is the end of your parabolic move right here. And then this is a retracement and a failure. So this is the parabolic move. So I don't think you can correlate those two together. No, I do not. So Andre says, I'm underestimating the market manipulation. Charts mean nothing in a market this small. Okay, Andre, tell me, then how do you analyze the market if you can't do it with charts? Any manipulation is done in the charts. Any buying is done in the charts. Any selling is done in the charts. Everything's done in the charts. Everything. There's nothing that is not done in the charts. Nothing. So manipulated, whatever, it's in the charts. So yes, you can use the charts because that's the only valid information. The only valid information when it comes to trading is what people do, and the only thing that you can do is to analyze charts. You can't analyze really anything else. Oh yeah, I was trying to figure out where my last exit was, 9217. Yeah, there we go. Could not kickstart momentum, Johnny B is saying there. And yes, Johnny, that goes back with my theory. When you're in this type of market situation, when all hope gets lost, things just go lower and lower and lower. Will coins like BNB benefit from their quarterly coin burns regardless of BTC price plummeting? That's interesting. I haven't done any analytics on that, so to be quite frank with you, I have a hard time giving you a hard answer on that because I just don't know. I haven't done any thought. I haven't thought about that whatsoever. Thoughts on Ethereum? Will it simply track BTC? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. It has started tracking BTC again. Okay, it has started it again. So if that will continue, then, and yeah, it's going to continue. But so far, yeah, I think everything follows BTC. We're still fairly immature, and I think that's just kind of the way that it is for now. You know, we still have that. We still follow. What do I think about KuCoin as a coin to hold? You know, I'm not sure. I'm not really holding anything, so. Andre asks, do your charts account for the whales with hundreds of millions selling at the top and the bottom? Absolutely they do. Absolutely they do. Because check it out. Look, there's any selling is going to be shown up in the charts. So it absolutely does show in the charts. Why wouldn't it show in the charts? It's active buying and selling. So yes. I mean, I doubt someone sold up here unless it was a private sale transaction, which wouldn't affect the markets at all. But whoever, all this volume here was very valid volume. All this volume here is very valid volume. So of course it's in the charts. How would it not be in the charts? That would be my question to you. Thoughts on staking masternodes mining as a strategy to deal with the bear market? Pato asks. Very good question. I think all of those are extremely valid strategies. They're not trading. They're becoming part of the business of cryptocurrencies. And I would definitely think that could be a way if you want to consider it dealing with the bear market. Like if you have enough Litecoin or Dash Dash, not Litecoin. If you have enough Dash to run a masternode, I would run a masternode all day long. I would run a masternode, and I wouldn't be worried about the bear markets. That's a business more than it is a trading strategy. And those are businesses that have business decisions, things of that nature. Which exchange do I use to short? I use BitMEX 714. Charts don't work. The psychology of losing money is interesting. All right, Craig. Well. Okay, you can leave the chat at any time. Analysis of Theta, please. Is that a coin? I'm not sure what Theta is. Michael says, as someone who trades predominantly off of fundamental analysis, is now a good time to start basic TA courses and perhaps considering exiting the market for now? I think you should always consider technical analysis courses. And in terms of exiting the market, like I said earlier, I generally don't like to tell people to exit the market, but especially without knowing your entry, your time perspective, your strategy, things of that nature. I'll be happy to go over your strategy with you, but just blatantly telling you to exit without not knowing anything about you and your position isn't very professional of me, to be quite frank with you. But you should always learn technical analysis. You should always know when you're going to get into the market and out of the market, okay? You should always have those strategy points in mind. What do you think about alts going to touch November, December lower point before alts start session? When you say start session, I'm assuming you mean the next bull market in alts. December low points before alts start session. Alts is a group will rally when Bitcoin goes sideways. I don't have a great answer to that one, to be quite frank with you. I don't have a great answer. Am I familiar with Tone Vase and his special analysis tools? Your opinions? I know of Tone Vase. I don't routinely watch his channel. I know he uses that 9-day count thing. I don't know much about that. I don't have a great... No, my analysis works for me. His analysis apparently works for him. And I don't necessarily want to take the time to understand his analysis. Lots of people saying whales do X with the market, but I think that's unlikely. I mean, I'm a minnow now, but I think if I were a whale, what I do is I'd go with the market instead of trying to move it, Danny says. How do you use BitMEX from the US, Paul asks. You actually have to sign up using a Tor browser, and then you can sign up using the link below in my video. in my description here. And after that, you can go ahead and trade. And Bitcoin looks like selling off a little bit here. All right. Every time I try to short Bitcoin, it says order submission error. All right, I'm gonna wait. Darn it. Are my courses available yet? No, they are not. They are not complete. I'm working on them after the stream today. I will release courses kind of in kind as I finish them. I have 11 courses, and they're pretty cool. There we go. Okay, do I think Monero would overtake BTC? No. I do not think Monero will overtake BTC. What do you think about trailing stop losses? I think they're fantastic. If your exchange can use trading stop losses, I suggest that you figure out how to use those. Highly suggest you figure out how to use those. Okay. Do you think there could be a flippening this year? I think it's possible. I think anything's possible, but as long as everything's trading with Bitcoin, you're not going to have any kind of flippening occur, unfortunately. I got in at 13K and want to sell at 11K if this is possible and sound plan prior to May. By the way, thanks for your great advice. Kevin, I don't think you're getting your 11,000 sell, buddy. You're going to see much lower prices before you see any reasonable higher price. That's what my analysis leads me to. You're not getting 11. Take that, mix it in with your soup, and come to your conclusion. But yeah, you're not seeing 11. We're going to see 6 before we see 11. Do I think we would have been... What's my favorite coin long term? Bitcoin. Bitcoin is my favorite coin long term. It's the biggest, and most other coins could do weird stuff, but I think Bitcoin, just in terms of stability. What do you think of Charlie Lee saying Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin will flip positions at some point this year? Could be. I don't know. He's not a technical analyst. I don't know where he's pulling that information from. But I haven't done any analysis on that. But from my understanding, Litecoin is way lower than Bitcoin Cash. Do you think we would have been bullish if not for the dump? Buck asks. That's like asking it, do you think that my ex-girlfriend would love me if she didn't hate me? It's quite frankly the same thing. Yes, if nobody was selling, Bitcoin would go higher. But guess what? The dump happened, and that's that. Did you just open a short position? I was managing my short position. I was managing my short position. On the 5-minute trading view chart, Ethereum just had the largest green volume spike in like 3 months. Really? Let's go check that out. Ethereum, well, 5-minute. Let's go to my 1 minute. I'm looking on the GDAX, not quite sure where that is. Bitfinex. Let's check that out. Ethereum. Right there, huh? 5K worth of Ethereum. That's quite a bit of Ethereum. Jack asks when I'm going to upload more videos on the Real Stock channel. Good question. I almost did it a couple times over the weekend. Oh, I'm not liking this Netflix bar. Not liking that Netflix bar right there. So one thing about cryptocurrencies is all I got to do is really talk about Bitcoin, and I can at least get some good information out there. With real stocks, um, yeah, I'll do another one today or tomorrow. How's that? I know I need to do it, so I'll go ahead and do it. It's stocks are harder for me because there's so much going on in the stock market that just doing a fairly quick video on it seems difficult. But yeah, I'll go ahead and get that done. I know that I need to. So Sid says, I think you might get your 11K on Bitcoin. Keep your head up. If you do get your 11K, the question I have to you is that are you going to sell it? Or are you going to think it's going higher? That's the question you have to ask yourself is will you legitimately sell it if it does get to 11K? Because a lot of times what happens is things hit people's price targets and then they think it's continuing higher so they never sell. What would be my hard indicators for knowing when a bottom is near or in? That's a tough question. Bottoms are very individual, to be quite frank with you. Some bottoms are spike capitulation bottoms. Some bottoms are kind of wide trending channel bottoms. I go over that stuff in my market cycles webinar actually, but they're all a little bit different. Basically, I don't look for bottoms per se. I don't look to buy actual bottoms. What I look to do is buy the continuation pattern. I look to buy the continuation pattern. Yeah, that's basically what I look to do. So in other words, like if this was a bottom, which it's not, this is not a bottom, but well, this was a bottom down here. I didn't buy this, but what I would look for is a general change of direction. I would look for overall larger volume, lower, and preferably a huge spike to the upside. I actually caught live on my December 12-22, if you search that video on my channel, I caught the bottom live there, and I have some links to it in the description if you want to see what an actual bottom looks like in real time. So Vlad asked, the longer-term bear trend line in BTC managed to get over it and is now writing it again, but not significantly breaking below it. Can that be used as an indicator? Great question, Vlad. I actually think that trend line holds less validity now than it did. I think that actually holds. I think it holds a lot less validity. Let me get to that chart. So yeah, I think this trend line holds a little bit less validity, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Now this is just a thought. Keep this in mind. This isn't analysis. This is just a thought I had. This is a very aggressive trend line. If we continue on this trend line here, and if you think the bottom is 2,600 or 2,400, then you have until late April. That would be a very quick sell-off. But to be quite frank with you, this was also a very quick sell-off. So it could be something that happens. We could ride this trend line all the way down, but you're right, it is not necessarily trading below it at this moment in time. We could actually maybe even redraw this trend line on the GDAX like so. If you want to do that, that is a possibility. It's hard to know when a trend line is completely valid, usually until it's been broken. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. But I usually would use this point as my point, as you just saw. But if you move it here to this new high-ish area, then you can kind of maybe have a new line in terms of Bitcoin. So Aid says a how to get started in stocks video would be excellent on the Real Stocks channel. You know, that's been mentioned a couple of times. I do need to do that. I will be happy to answer about your ETH prediction if you post something about it. I know you said you can't post links here. I thought I had where you could post links. Hold on a second. So what if a whale bought a billion worth tomorrow? How would that affect your charts? Well, if a whale bought a billion tomorrow, I would instantly start to see buying. I would see levels breaking out. And let's say a whale bought this, right? Let's say a whale bought this. Andre, I appreciate the fact that you think TA is garbage. I more appreciate the fact you're asking questions. Thank you. I legitimately mean that. Okay. So let's say a whale is going to buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. First of all, he's smart enough not to just buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Okay, he's quite literally smart enough to not just go $1 billion, buy, blah blah blah. All right, if he's got $1 billion, he's not going to do that. He's going to be smart about it. He's going to pick at it. And what you're going to see is large volumes start to come in. You're going to see levels be taken out. If he buys it tomorrow, so if a guy bought $1 billion worth of Bitcoin tomorrow, you're going to see Bitcoin not go any lower. That's the first thing you're going to see. Bitcoin won't drop. Okay? He'll just sit there and he will buy and he'll buy and he'll buy. And then when it ticks up a little bit and he can't buy anymore, he'll start buying at that level. And then when it ticks up a little more and he can't buy anymore, he'll start buying at that level. And the faster that happens, that's when you know that a whale has entered the market. Okay? You can see the footprints of a whale before the move is evident. You can see it. You can see it. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing, like I said, you're going to see levels begin to get taken out. You're going to see a lack of drops in the market. Any drop in the market will have a lower volume signature than the rises in the market. Basically the inverse of this chart. You see this with all the red with a little bit of green? You'll see the inverse of this chart. You'll see a lot of green with a little bit of red. If he literally starts to continually buy, that's exactly what you'll see. And that's how I know that someone's getting in the market. And I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a whale. I don't care if it's a government. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what's happening in the price action. Genesis Mining just hit with cease and desist order in North Carolina? Really? Wow. Am I expecting one more push up for Bitcoin before down, say, up to 10.5? I'm not expecting anything, to be quite frank with you. I'm really not it's such a... So let's put it this way. The markets, I'm looking on another screen at the 15-minute chart. Come on. Right now, the market's selling off. Like I said earlier, if whales were buying here, I would see the inverse of this chart. Now, if you're asking me, is it possible we get another bounce up? It's most definitely possible. Anything's possible in the markets. Okay? So here's kind of your bear channel here. Here's kind of this is your flag. It could retrace the bottom of this channel and bounce higher, absolutely. However, it doesn't look like it's going to do that. You have this increasing volume here. The only big green pop you had was this one green candle. I mean, big whoop, right? So Pato, thank you very much for the for the super chat. We'll go ahead and look at DRGN. And the market's going lower. That's very good for me. Looks like it's about to break lower for a full retrace. Yes, it does. I would agree with your sentiment. That is not bueno. So you have kind of a rounding pattern here implying a more advanced sell-off. Kind of implying a more advanced sell-off. And I hope Bitcoin right now has a more advanced sell-off. Ooh, there we go. But yeah, I would say this... right now, it's sitting right at a support level, right in range of support. So if it doesn't stay supported here, it probably will go lower. But overall, that's the 15. Let's go to the 2-hour. Oh, this is a brand new coin. Is this brand new? Yeah, I would not trade this. I would not be actively trading anything to do with this chart. Let's go back to Bitcoin. You know, I'm actually quite upset at myself. I woke up this morning and didn't come right to my computer, and I would have caught this first down move if I was at my computer. So I'm a little upset about that. A little upset about that. There's a massive support trend line that hit 18,000, 3,000, and 6,000. Do you think Bitcoin will retest that support? Oh, you're looking at the daily chart. Gotcha. And of course, Bitcoin reverses up. Good thing I didn't short more. Come on, mouse. Okay, 3,000. So this 3,000, go away. I hate this mouse. Okay, so we've got 3,000. That's your 6,000. And then and 8,000. Sorry, trying to draw this trend line here. Retest. Am I drawing the wrong trend line here? Or are you going off tops like a weirdo? I've seen a lot of weirdos do something like this. And yes, I'm calling you weirdos for doing that. You looking at that trend line? Yeah, hard to draw trend lines off of. So Ravi asks, I'm trying to say that recent uptrend was due to a whale from 86.45 to 98.33. Well, I don't know if it's due to a whale. To be Ravi, it doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter. Take whale out of your vocabulary. Doesn't matter. Whales don't matter. Okay? Whales don't matter. Now, that being said, they do cause the movements in the market. Okay? But you can't constantly be hunting for a whale if you're trying to eat. Okay? If you're trying to eat, don't just look for a whale. You still have to look at the whole ocean. Kind of a weird one. Question. What's your opinion on the Tom DeMark indicator? I don't have an opinion because I don't know what that is. I've heard about it, but I haven't looked into it. How much cash do you think the market needs to push us into an uptrend? It's not about how much cash we need, Andre. It's not about how much cash we need. The sentiment of the overall market needs to change. The sentiment. It's not a money equation thing. And no one knows the answer to that question, to be honest with you as well. There's really no easy answer to that because there's going to be traders that are buying and selling that go into the liquidity of the market. So it's hard to say exactly how much cash. Yeah, I don't know. All I know is we did have an article down here that said $400 million worth of Bitcoin was bought down in this area, pretty much causing this bottom done by one wallet. So I don't know, a couple $100 million bucks. Yeah, sorry, Brian. It is hard to draw these trend lines, especially going back longer term like that. Crypto Crown, where's he at? Oh, there he is. Everyone say hi to Crown's Crypto. It's Crypto Crown, by the way. Looking ready for another leg down, I agree, sir. BitMEX futures trading well below spot. So great arbitrage opportunity as well as with expiry happening soon. Interesting. But yeah, I agree. We are doing another leg down. That leg down would take us down to 6K, ladies and gentlemen. This leg down would take us down towards 6K. And do want to give a shout out to Crypto Crown there. Thanks for coming back. We missed you in the chat room, buddy. What do you say about other YouTubers pushing people to buy on the dip when they don't know anything about markets or technical analysis? If they're pushing a specific buy and hold strategy, I can see why they're saying buying on the dip because they don't know about technical analysis or markets. They're kind of, in a way, leading pigs to the slaughter because this is what's going to happen. They may have a perspective, and maybe some of these YouTubers are hodlers from way back in the day, so maybe they're adding 2 positions, okay, and they've already been holding for years. I don't know about any specific person, if you're talking about a specific person, but all these new people, new to cryptos, if they buy here, if they buy at 9,000 and Bitcoin gets down to 4,000, 5,000, I mean, they may panic sell it's not going to matter what a YouTuber says, because a YouTuber isn't in the chat like this 24 hours a day. They have to live with themselves and their accounts and their money. So I find it really hard to tell people, guys, if I tell you to buy something, like if I literally tell you to buy something, if I say, guys, you need to buy Bitcoin right here, like I really wholeheartedly believe that from pretty much every time frame perspective and standpoint. But you're going to hear me say that maybe once or twice a year. Okay, maybe once or twice a year. There's only an extraordinarily few amount of very clear trading signals that work on all time frames. Very, very few. And when I talked about this cup with handle here, I didn't say everyone buy, but it was a very clear buy signal, and I think I made it abundantly clear that I was very bullish at this moment in time. Very, very bullish on that video. You haven't seen that from me really very often at all, but I think those people that are doing that are really doing some people a disservice. When do you feel Bitcoin will be back into the teen prices? Late this year. Late this year. Let's go ahead and put that in there. Hey, there we go. ETH buy zone. Let's take a look at this. All right. Guys, this is what the Real Crypto Power Hour is meant to be about, to be quite frank with you. I'm doing a live stream today. Starting next week, what I'm going to be doing is going live every day for about an hour, in the mornings, and it will be a premium service. It will be something that you'll have to pay a monthly subscription for, but we're going to do it every day. We're going to go over your guys' charts. We're going to go over your sentiment. We're going to go over your trading strategies and everything like that. And I'm still going to do everything the same I do on YouTube, but this will be for people that really want access and feedback and things of that nature, because I've been asked a lot when I'm going to start this chat room and that chat room, and I'm going to start with the Real Crypto Power Hour, and we're going to go from there. So, but this is what it's really meant for. All these larger Bitcoin topics I'm happy to answer, but I really want to get down to the nitty-gritty with the people that want to learn, need some answers, and if I dedicate some time, then I think people will be able to get some good knowledge there. Okay, 2 triangle patterns in the small one, in the short term, and the long one here. If we hit the 550 to 400 buy zone with very high volume, this will likely be the bottom for ETH. Will this be a good This will be a good accumulation range. This graph does not show any side action, but there will be. So we'll probably hit the bottom later than mid-April. I would, can I zoom out on this? I don't know if it'll let me zoom out on this one. I wouldn't view that as a buy zone, to be frank with you. Again, this depends on what your time frame is for your trade. What I mean by that is that, are you going to hold this Ethereum for a long time? Is this like your longer term? Is this your longer term? Is this for a long-term hold? Is this for a trade? Is this for a bounce? Like, I still think a little more information is needed. But overall, it has some validity to it. It looks like you took a bit of a measured move here. Looks like you're down into a buy zone, coming around this basing area. So that looks valid. Bitcoin really is going to have a lot to do with this as well. I think Bitcoin's really going to have a lot to do with this as well. 6 months? Yeah, 6 months may be fine. 6 months may be fine. Typically, I would like to... Oh, okay. I can't zoom out, but I can move. Okay, cool. So 470. I'm too tired for this. I want to go back to bed. Go back to bed, buddy. Sleep is important. Sleep is important. Yeah, so 470. So yeah, not a bad place to buy. If we could get a full retrace all the way down to 400, though, I think you should take that into account. There's a 420 all-time top over here, which isn't too far down from 470. So if that's kind of like your ideal buy point, I'm not super mad about that. I'm not super mad about that, but you do have to understand if you're going to place this kind of a trade, where you would get in, where you would get out, and you need to have an overall strategy based around that. More than likely, Ethereum, if it does get down to this level, it'll have a nice capitulation bottom, and if it does, I would try to buy some on that capitulation bottom. So those capitulation bottoms, man, if you can take a position, those are really nice. And again, if you want to see what that looks like in real time, go to my channel, search December 22nd, 12-22, and I've got a video there that you can watch one of the Bitcoin bottoms live that I was live streaming, and you can really see what it looks like when it bottoms and goes up. Okay, I think Ether has more consolidation to go through since it hit all-time high after BTC. Yeah, that could be, Buck. That could be. I was actually really enjoying the fact that Ethereum was running after Bitcoin, showing it could buck the market trend, but overall it did give up and give in to the overall selling in the Bitcoin market. Bitcoin is not going to 3,000. I bet anybody on that. Okay. Did we look at Cardano? We didn't really look at Cardano, but we can. That's the beauty of the platform, is we can look at Cardano. Look at it against BTC. So Cardano, I think, has lower to go. To be quite frank with you, I think it has lower to go. I like the coin. I like what they're doing. I think with their network it's going, it'll be great. But I think technically it has a little bit more downside action to it. So I don't really see a lot of bottoming action happening over here at all. So let me. Yeah, if you want it for like a real long-term hold, what do you got to the all-time highs, like 300%? So 300% to the upside and to the downside. If we retrace fully, you got 60% downside. So 60% downside, 300% potential upside if you're looking for a really long-term hold. If those odds are fine with you, that's fine. That's fine with me. Not too bad. Opinion on Litecoin from now to May, Kevin asks. I don't really have an opinion based on that specific time frame. I can check it out though. So I think Litecoin. Bitcoin getting a buying flurry here. So I think Litecoin is going to do some sideways action. I think maybe going into May, I think it may go a little bit lower, to be honest with you, is what I think it's going to do. But you could see some upside action as long as Bitcoin holds somewhat strong. Litecoin isn't looking bad. It hasn't broken down like everything else, but you do have a bear flag here, kind of in symbiosis with Bitcoin. How the hell did that happen? Sorry. Just got stopped out of my short there. And now it's going to go back down again. This is what happens when I can't get my entry I want on my short trade weird. But yeah, I think Litecoin's going to go to May. I think it's going to be pretty flat, my friend. I think it's going to be pretty flat. You're going to see a range, but overall, I don't think it's going to get much higher than 200 and may not get much lower than the 120 level there. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call the live stream there. Thank you for joining me for the first Real Crypto Power Hour. We're going to do another one tomorrow and every day this week between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Arizona time, whatever time that is for you. We had some technical difficulties this morning, and I'd like to thank those of you that are still with me. I appreciate it. Like I said, going forward, as of this week, we're just going to do the Real Crypto Power Hour. As of next week, that's going to be a service that I'm going to provide for some premium members on my website. If you want some actual real advice portfolio, we're going to do this every day. I know people have questions every day, so we're going to do it every day. And thank you very much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you guys tomorrow.